Finding distance. Our objective is to be able to find the distance from a point to a line on a coordinate plane. Let's start! Our first objective, the first thing we need to be able to do is find the slope of the line. For that, we use the equation m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So as an example, if we had a line that crossed through points -4, 2 and 3, -5, this is what we would have to do to find the slope. First, we subtract the y's. -5 minus 2 equals -7. Then we subtract the x's. 3 minus -4, that equals 7. And third, we divide. -7 divided by 7, that would equal -1. Then after we get our slope, we need to find the y-intercept to be able to find the equation of the line. To find the y-intercept, all we need to do is use the equation y equals mx plus b and plug in the variable. We choose a point from our line, plug in the x and the y, and then plug in our slope, which is the variable m. That's for example, if I chose the points -4, 2, I would plug in with my slope, making it look like 2 equals -1 times -4 plus b. Then we just solve, and in our example, b equals -2. So the equation of our line is y equals -1x minus 2. Next, we need to write an equation for our points, and for that, we need to find the slope and the y-intercept again. To be able to find the slope, we need to consider the point perpendicular to our line, and as all perpendicular lines, the slope is the opposite reciprocal. So basically, if our first slope was -1, the slope of our perpendicular line would be 1. Then, to find the y-intercept, all we do is use the equation y equals mx plus b, plug in the slope, plug in the y and the x, and find b. Like in our example, the y-intercept would be 2, since we subtract 1 from 3. So the equation of the line is y equals x plus 2. Then we create a system of equation and solve for y. In our example, if we eventually add up the two equations, we would result y equals 0. Then we solve for x by choosing one of our first equations and substituting y. So if you chose the equation y equals x plus 2, it would become 0 equals x plus 2, and later on become x equals -2. Now we know the point of intersection, yay! And in our example, that will be -2, 0. Woohoo! Finally, all that's left to do is use the distance formula to find the distance in between the points. And don't forget, now this is the distance formula. So in our example, we would do the square root of -2 minus 1 squared plus 0 minus 3 squared, which would equal the square root of 18. And finally, the distance between the point and the line is the square root of 18. And yay, now that we have met our objectives, seen the explanation in the example, let's see if we can answer some challenging questions. If you got those questions correct, that means you understood the concepts. Bye, until next time.